Now how am I supposed to get it out? This is a very stupid setup. I don't like it at all. Should this fail, the 20 amp would pop after the fact, after probably shocking you. I don't know what that means. Guess I should have read the manual first, huh? Okay, so in the filter system here, when these are lined up, I'm roughly 3 inches off the wall, which is lucky because 2 2x4s is 3 inches. So I've cut a 2x6 at 4 feet. That will go from roughly this tape line to about that tape line. And then I cut a piece going straight up 18 inches, and I'll cut individual blocks for this filter and that filter, and the one going up is for the UV light filter. Okay, I'm hooking up the Aquasana UV light, and everything else is pretty self-explanatory, but this was a bit confusing. So I'm going to try and show you how this works. So the instructions are pretty vague, but this spring goes inside, like so. Then this light, you cannot touch the actual bulb itself. Anyone's done anything with fluorescent bulbs like this knows that you don't want to get oil on it. So we should be able to slide this down there. It should hit that spring. Should. This is the problem I was having before, is I don't feel it hitting the spring. Alright. See, that's the problem I had, is now it's down inside there. Now how am I supposed to get it out? This is a very stupid setup. I don't like it at all. Alright, I gotta pause the video while I try and get that out. Okay, let's try this again after I got the bulb and everything out. So this is the quartz sleeve, and the instructions are not very clear on the difference between them. So I thought this was an extra bulb that was sitting in the box. So I decided to take it out and see if it was any longer than the bulb that I just spent 10 minutes trying to get out. And it turns out it's this sleeve that they were talking about. So this should slide into there. Okay, I got everything mounted now. So all I've got to do is make my connections. I think what I can do without having to run to the store. I should be able to get this connection done. I should be able to get this connection done to the T and the shutoffs, and get my loop going back around and set it over here, waiting for that last fitting that I need to get. And then I think I'll be pretty much stuck for the day. Yeah, things are scooting along nicely. I typically don't like using 90s like this. I'd rather have a sweeping elbow, but trying to conserve space and keep me away from my sub panel there as much as possible. But actually I'm utilizing them a couple places. So this is one of my shutoff valves for the bypass. There's the other one, did a sweeping 90 there. That goes up to the house. Everything here is just dry fit until I get everything done, and then I'll go back through and crimp stuff. Because the problem with these fittings is once you crimp them, they are stuck. It's kind of weird this isn't a 1-inch line. I understand that most houses have a 1-inch service and then they drop down to a 3/4 inch in the house, but it just seems like the whole filter system is 1 inch. It ought to run 1 inch all the way through. You have a 1-inch outlet there, a 1 inch in there, but they only want you to use a 3/4. I can kind of understand that because they actually want the water to flow through a little slower through here, so it sits in the light longer. But still, it seems kind of weird. So you go from 1 inch out down to a 3/4. Why don't they just make these 3/4 inch fittings? Why don't they just make that a 3/4 inch fitting? But whatever, it's no different than the dang, whole pump system that goes from, back and forth between 1.25 and 1 inch. 6 or 7 times it seems. It doesn't make any sense. So pretty much hit a stopping point unless I can think of anything else before I run to the store. Okay, so we're back at the house. I had a couple meetings the other day, so I had to run back into town for a while. Shave the beard. My girls were quite shocked when I did that. It's always fun to shave and run out of the living room and see their faces. I never had a beard quite that big before, so it was quite a difference when I took it off. So let me know what you think. Like this, or I like the furry look. Anyways, went ahead and just installed my ground bar right there, moved my grounds up, wired in a new GFI receptacle. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering why I have all this water equipment and nothing protected. However, these go back to the main breaker. This now runs all of my lights. This outlet, the light switch is there, an outlet, and the outlet's on the other side of this wall. And it's also I put this plug here because this is for the UV light. I want to have something to be able to plug that into that was close instead of wiring it all the way back over to that plug. So on a GFCI receptacle, you only have to have one that will run the whole circuit. So I have a 20 amp breaker, 15 amp GFCI. So should this fail, the 20 amp would pop after the fact, after probably shocking you. But the 15 amp, the reason why, let's say I had a 15 amp breaker and I had a 15 amp GFCI, they're the same, and so they may compete with each other as far as which one's going to pop first. That's why I have a 20 amp breaker and a 15 amp GFCI. So what happens is, should there be some sort of an overload, so I'm going to hit the test button here, everything shuts off. So go ahead and reset it. So this kills the whole room. Now typically I do not have my lights hooked up to the outlets because I don't want to have someone flip a vacuum on or things like that, and then you see your lights flicker and dim, especially LEDs or CFLs. You can actually ruin the bulbs through things like that. So, but all I have is a couple lights in here, just these 4 lights, and I have 1 outside light. So there's really not a whole lot going on in this room that I'm worried about that potentially happening. So anyways, I got that installed over there now, so I can hook up the UV light and plug it in on that side, and it's now GFCI protected for the whole room. So next project is going to be getting back to my plumbing here. This guy is going to go in here, and I can cut the PVC out, pretty far. I'm only going to cut it about 1 inch, but I can cut it way out so that I can slide these pieces back and forth. Once these are filled up with water, they pushed out a little bit. And when they did that, it was very difficult getting this piece to fit back in there. So with a slip coupling, I can actually now take this section off or take this section off, and I'll have enough room in the middle they can slide back and forth. So there's going to be no issues with being able to pinch those back together again. So I'm not going to do it tonight. It's already getting dark out, and I got here late today because I had some meetings to attend. So I'm going to tackle this tomorrow. I just want to get the electrical put in, which is done now. Another thing I did the other day was I offset my drain off to the sides when I built the deck. Instead of having the shut-off valve here, shut-off valve is off to the side and easier to get to. That's it. Just moving forward. We should have treated water here in no time. We're supposed to get another big rain coming on Friday. It snowed last night a little bit. Got about an inch of snow. It's Thursday right now. Sunday we're supposed to get another big rain just like last Sunday. And in the last big rain we got 3,200 gallons. So we'll see how much we get in this one. I got 1,600 gallons in this tank from that first rain. And I had to drain the other one. So once I get the plumbing fixed, I'll open the valves and let them levelize, so I'll have 800 in each side. I got it all opened up. Bit of water coming out, more than I thought. I'm surprised it's still going. Of course, we do have a little bit of snow on the solar panels right now, so there's probably water still coming into the tank. In fact, I can hear some coming in right now. Anyways, this is my slip coupling I'm going to put on here. I went ahead and cut this. So what this will allow me to do now is keep these two sides separate. Little rubber grommet. This screws into this piece, which goes on there. Same setup on the other side, so this can slide back and forth as you unscrew it. I cut off about an inch in here, which will give me enough room to slide the pieces back and forth. Should be all I need. I'll always cut it bigger if I need to. So what I'll do, slide this way back like that. When I get my next one in place, I can just set it there and then slide this back over and screw it all together. Also, I've got to redo, this is the joint that was leaking. So I bought some, this was in a 6x6 1/8" piece of rubber. I just bought the shelf at Home Depot. So I can slap that on there. Went ahead and cut it to size, a little bit tight. I didn't want it to be really loose. And this should butt up really tight against that flange right there. Okay, I've got that fitting back on there. Couldn't quite get my valve back up to where I wanted it to, but I didn't want to push it and possibly break it. So ready to go ahead and hook this piece back up. So you can see when this is in line now, I've got the gap here. Okay, you can hear the water rushing through from this barrel into that barrel now. And I'm not seeing any leaks so far. So I'm not going to let it fill up all the way. I just want to get over the top of my joints here. So far looks good. Let this sit for a while and see if I have any leaks. And if not, then I'll open everything back up, let the tanks equalize, and then I really can't do much until I get my fittings for over there, so I'll go find something else to work on. I'm going to go ahead and seal up around my overflow. It's in there pretty tight, but I know this will leak. So I'm using here is Huebner's zip system, liquid flashing. So I have the pink stuff that you can see on the wall. That's a different product that has fibers in it. This should work just fine. There's no pressure on this or anything. Plus, the color will match a lot better. So I have a big pink ring around here. My sausage tube is already filled up with the other brand. So all I'm going to do is poke a hole here in the side, squirt it out onto my little plastic fin for smearing things. And then I'll go ahead and get a good bead around there, and then let it dry, and it should be good to go by the time the rain gets here. So this is different than caulking. This will not shrink or crack or things like that down the road. This is a rubberized liquid membrane, so that should seal it up pretty good. If there were pressure on it, I'd be concerned, but this is just a drain line. So all I'm trying to do is to keep any leaking coming from this during a storm. Everything should be sealed up nice on there. We'll just have to see. Like I said, the amount of rain we got during that first rain at 3,600 gallons, I'm sure we'll be testing that this Sunday. rained since about 5 o'clock this morning. So our barrels, when the rain started, was right about 800. So just today, we've gone from 800, and right now we are above 2,000. But filter system's all done, the bypass loop is in, and everything's pressurized. I don't have any leaks I'm aware of. There wasn't any leaks here a little bit ago. Nope, it's all good, 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 good. I haven't turned the UV light on yet. We're not really using the actual water for anything currently. Looks like I plug it in to see what it does. Blows up on me or something. I don't know what that means. Guess I should have read the manual first, huh? So we should have a UV light going inside there now. I don't know, I can't really check it because if I, oh, actually I guess I can. Go like this. Ta-da! There it is. We know it's working. So I have to read and see what this number means here. I read the instructions here, so that is a day timer. So as the days count down, it'll tell me how many days are left before I'm supposed to change the bulb. And then the green light will change to a yellow light when I'm within 30 days. And then when it gets down to 7 days, it'll start beeping at me. So that's what it is. That's basically a countdown clock. So I turn the lights off real quick. You can see the UV light through the PEX tubing. So you can see a digital off to the left, and there's my inlet at the bottom and my outlet at the on the left hand side there. I remember watching another video of someone doing this, and them talking about the UV light being bad on PEX. So I'm going to have to research that and see if that's going to be an issue or not, and see if we need to resolve it. So just when I said there were no leaks, I noticed there was a tiny leak right on the bottom of this one. So I went to tighten it, and it made the leak actually worse. So what I'm doing now is just, I loosen this up so I can bleed the pressure out so it doesn't spray everywhere. And then I realized that in this system, there is no way to relieve pressure from the system. So if you have to change a cartridge here, you're going to shut off that valve, you're going to shut off this valve, but there's still 30 to 50 psi in this little leg right here where the filters are. And there's no way to relieve that pressure. So what I'm going to do is tap in right here. I'll cut that out and probably just put another shark bite fitting in there, and then have a relief valve put in. So that way if I ever have to do this in the future, at some point I'm going to have to change these filters out, and I'm going to change all the filters at some point. But right now there's no way to relieve the pressure in the line. All my leaks are fixed, pump's working. Rainwater, we got 4,000 gallons right now from last rain we had. So it's all looking pretty good. I look really old.
He's gonna be bald by the time I'm done with this.
It's really weird because I'm doing my eyebrows. It's backwards from what my mind is doing and what I'm seeing, so it's really messing me up. We are in the rental, and this is how I get my hair cut nowadays.
Yeah, with the pandemic going on.
Yep.
I need a haircut.
I gotta trim the beardo up because it's getting kind of
It's really long.
Just shave my head and leave the beard.
Oh no.
Half my hair is gone anyways.
No.
Well, you're no fun.
No, I'm not.